Jake spent the entire night staring at the ceiling of his dorm room, while Zixthera's empty hammock glowed softly in the darknesses. Alien roommate had not returned after running from the dining hall, and Jake felt terrible about the whole situation when morning came. He dragged himself to Professor Moonwhisper's office, hoping she could help him fix this mistake. Elf Professor lived in a tower room filled with books and strange glowing artifacts from dozens of worlds. She looked up from an ancient text written in symbols that seemed to move across the page. "Young Jake, I wondered when you would seek me out." Her office smelled like flowers and old books, with a hint of something that reminded him of lightning storms. Jake slumped into a chair that adjusted itself automatically to his human proportions. "Professor, I need help. I don't want Zixthera to be in trouble because I said something stupid." Professor Moonwhisper set down her book and looked at him with those ancient violet eyes. "The situation is more complex than you realize. Hewn among the Vorthan people, the bond of casual affection is an ancient ceremony that carries great cultural weight. When someone declares dude while receiving assistance, it begins a formal courtship ritual." Jake felt his heart sink as she continued, explaining, "If the ritual is not completed properly, it brings great shame upon the family of the one who received the declarations. Zixir will be seen as unworthy of affection and may be cast out from Vorthan society." The weight of responsibility settled on Jake's shoulders like a heavy blanket. "What do I have to do to complete this ritual?" Think the professor's expression became almost amused as she consulted another glowing text. "You must appear before the Academy Council, declare your intentions, and undergo the trial of honest hearts. This trial requires you to remove your upper garments and speak only truth while the council judges your worthiness." Jake's face turned red at the thought of being shirtless in front of a bunch of alien authority figures. "Then, if I refuse to do this, then Zixthera faces exile and dishonor among his people." Professor Moonwhisper stood up and moved to a window that looked out over the Academy grounds. "I have watched many young beings struggle with cultural misunderstandings during my centuries here, but your situation is unique because your declaration came from genuine human friendship rather than romantic interest." Jake left the professor's office, feeling even more confused than before. He found Captain Maya Stone in the Academy's training gymnasium, practicing combat moves against holographic opponents. Maya was fast and precise, with her attacks making it look almost like a deadly dance. She noticed him watching and shut down the training program. "You look like someone who got hit by a cargo transport." Jake, "What happened?" Jake explained everything about the ritual and the trial of honest hearts. Maya listened without interrupting, and her expression grew more serious with each detail. "So let me get this straight. You accidentally proposed to your alien roommate by being polite, and now you have to go shirtless in front of the Academy Council, or he gets kicked out of his society." She put it like that. It sounded even more ridiculous. Maya shook her head and laughed, but not in a mean way. "Only you could start an interstellar incident by saying, 'Thanks, duty. I'll help you prepare for this trial thing, but you owe me a really good explanation of human social customs.'" They spent the next few hours going over what Jake might say to the council. Maya had studied alien cultures during her military training and knew more about diplomatic protocol than most humans. "The problem is that everything you say will be translated through universal translators that don't always capture context. Your casual human expressions might accidentally trigger more cultural protocols." Jake groaned and put his head in his hands. How was I supposed to know that being friendly could cause this much trouble? Meanwhile, Lyra appeared at the gymnasium entrance, looking nervous. Her green skin had shifted to a pale yellow color that Jake was learning meant worry among her people. "I have been looking for you, human, Jake." The small alien approached them with hesitant steps. "My species can sense emotional states, and I need to tell you something important about Zixthera." Jake and Maya both turned to give her their full attention. Lyra's silver eyes seemed to glow brighter as she spoke. "When Zixthera ran from the dining hall, I felt his emotions very clearly. He was not upset about your declaration. He was embarrassed because he does not return romantic feelings, but there is someone else whose emotional response was very strong when he heard about the bonding ritual. Jake felt hope rising in his chest. Who was Italy's skin shifted to a soft pink color that might have been her version of blushing. It may have had feelings for Zix since the beginning of the semester, but my species does not pursue others directly. When he ran away last night, I felt his confusion and sadness about hurting youth. 3 of them stood in the gymnasium, processing this new information. Likes you but doesn't know how to tell you, and you like him, but your culture won't let you make the first move, and I'm stuck in the middle of an alien engagement because I sneezed. Maya started laughing, and soon, all 3 of them were giggling at the absurdity of the situation. Lyra's empathic abilities were picking up their amusement, and her skin shifted through several cheerful colors. But we still need to figure out how to fix this before the trial. Jake spent the rest of the day trying to find Zixthera, but his roommates seemed to be avoiding all their usual places. He checked the library where Zixthera liked to study alien languages. He looked in the hydroponic gardens where the blue alien often went to meditate. He even asked other Vorthen students if they had seen him, but they all gave him strange looks and refused to answer. That evening Jake found Professor Moonwhisper in her office again. She was writing in a journal with a pen that seemed to be made of crystallized light. Have you seen Zixthera anywhere? I need to talk to him about this whole situation. The elf looked up and Jake could see centuries of wisdom in her violet eyes. The young Vorthen is struggling with shame and confusion about cultural expectations. He believes he has failed you by not returning your supposed romantic interest, but he also fears that refusing the bonding ritual will bring dishonor to both your families. Jake slumped into the chair again, feeling the weight of responsibility growing heavier. There has to be some way to fix this without anyone getting hurt or exiled. Professor Moonwhisper closed her journal and studied Jake with an expression he couldn't read. You know, human, there is something quite remarkable about your response to this crisis. Most beings, when faced with cultural misunderstandings, become angry or defensive, but you have shown only concern for your friend's well-being and genuine desire to make things right. Her words made Jake feel a little better, but didn't solve the immediate problem. I just want to help Zixthera. I never meant to cause trouble for anyone. The professor stood up and moved to her bookshelf, pulling out a text that glowed with soft blue light. Perhaps there is another way to approach this situation. Ancient Vorthen law does allow for cultural mediation in cases where customs conflict between species, but it would require you to demonstrate your understanding of both human and Vorthen values before the council. Jake felt a spark of hope at her words. What kind of demonstration? Professor Moonwhisper smiled, and for the first time, Jake thought she might actually be enjoying this complicated situation. You would need to explain human friendship customs in a way that honors Vorthen traditions, and you would need to do it while maintaining the honesty required by their trial of honest hearts, which means shirtless and speaking only truth. Jake sighed and wondered how his simple acceptance to the Galactic Academy had led to him preparing for a half-naked diplomatic presentation. But if it would help Zixthera avoid exile, and maybe even get together with Lyra, then he would figure out a way to make it work. Professor Moonwhisper watched him with an expression that seemed almost fond. Believe you may surprise yourself, young human. Your genuine nature and loyalty to friends are qualities that many species find admirably vent. When those qualities come wrapped in cultural confusion and accidental engagements. Jake left her office that night with a plan forming in his mind, and hoped that maybe this disaster could somehow turn into something good for everyone involved. The Academy Council chamber was the most intimidating room Jake had ever seen in his life. Well, massive chairs arranged in a circle held representatives from the major species of the Galactic Alliance. Chancellor Vera White sat in the center chair, looking stern and official in her crisp uniform. The other council members included beings that Jake recognized from his brief time at the Academy, and several that looked completely alien to anything he had encountered. There was a Cromner delegate, whose crystal body reflected the chamber's lights in rainbow patterns. A hive mind representative that seemed to be three separate insect-like creatures, moving in perfect coordination. Several tall gray tree beings, with bark that pulsed with soft, bioluminescent patterns. At least 4 species that Jake couldn't identify at all, including something that looked like a floating cloud of glowing gas. Maya stood beside him, wearing her military dress uniform and looking completely at ease. She had volunteered to serve as his advocate during the proceedings and had spent hours coaching him on proper diplomatic language. Lyra sat in the gallery section, reserved for interested observers. Her green skin kept shifting between worried yellow and hopeful pink as she watched the proceedings. Professor Moonwhisper occupied a special chair reserved for cultural advisors. Her elegant elven features remained calm, but Jake thought he detected a hint of anticipation in her violet Ishik sat across the chamber, in what was clearly the position reserved for the other party in bonding disputes. His 4 arms were folded across his chest, and his bioluminescent patches showed muted colors that Jake had learned meant resignation. White called the session to order with a voice that carried easily through the large chamber. We are gathered to address the matter of cultural protocol between human Jake Martinez and Vorthan Zixtero. Courting to Vorthan law, a declaration of casual affection has been made and must be formally resolved. Jake felt his palms sweating as hundreds of eyes focused on him. The Chancellor continued with formal language that made everything sound much more serious than Jake wanted it to. Be human. Jake Martinez, you are required to undergo the trial of honest hearts. This ancient Vorthan tradition demands that you remove your upper garments and speak only truth. Any false statement or attempt at deception will be detected by our empathic council. Member Smaya squeezed his shoulder in encouragement as Jake began unbuttoning his shirt. The chamber was kept at a comfortable temperature for most species, but Jake still felt goosebumps rise on his skin. Several council members made notes on glowing tablets as he folded his shirt and handed it to Maya. The hive mind representative buzzed softly in what might have been their version of interest. Chancellor White gestured for him to approach the center of the circle. State your name, species, and relationship to the Vorthan. Zixterajek tried to keep his voice steady as he responded, my name is Jake Martinez. I am human from Earth, and Zixthera is my friend and roommate. The word friend caused several council members to exchange glances. Crystal Cromner delegate made a sound like wind chimes being gently among humans. What does the term dude signify when used between friends? Jake felt relieved that this was a question he could answer. Easily. Dude is a casual friendly term that shows familiarity and affection between humans. We use it with people we like and trust without any romantic meaning. It's like saying buddy or pal, but more relaxed. The tree beings rustled their branches in what Jake hoped was understanding. One of the floating gas creatures pulsed brighter for a moment before returning to its normal glow. Chancellor White made more notes before asking her next question. When you called Zixthera dude while he was assisting you, what was your intention? Jake thought carefully about his answer, knowing that any deception would be detected. I wanted to thank him for helping me up after I sneezed in human culture. When someone helps you, it's polite to show appreciation. I called him dude because I was starting to think of him as a friend. The honesty of his response seemed to affect several council members. Lyra's empathic abilities were clearly picking up something positive because her skin shifted to a warm orange color. Professor Moonwhisper leaned forward slightly in her advisor chair. The hive mind representative buzzed more loudly and all 3 of their insect bodies moved in an animated pattern. Chancellor White consulted with the other council members in low voices before continuing. Human Jake, your responses indicate genuine friendship rather than romantic interest. However, Vorthan law requires completion of the bonding ritual, or formal rejections is a must. Now declare his own intentions regarding this cultural protocol. Jake's roommate stood up slowly, and his patches began cycling through nervous colors on Earth. Council members, I respect human Jake as a friend, but do not wish to become life-bonded. However, I cannot reject the ritual without bringing shame to both our families. Chamber fell silent as everyone processed this cultural deadlock. Maya stepped forward with military precision. If I may address the council, I believe there may be a solution that honors both human and Vorthan traditions. Chancellor White nodded permission. For her to speak, Captain Stone consulted notes she had prepared during their planning sessions. Human friendship customs emphasize loyalty and mutual support without romantic attachment. Vorn bonding rituals celebrate commitment and family honor. These traditions can be combined in a new ceremony that satisfies both cultural requirements. Professor Moonwhisper rose from her advisor chair with elegant grace. If the council permits, I would like to invoke the right of cultural innovation. Ancient provision allows for new ceremonies when existing traditions conflict between species. Several council members began consulting glowing reference texts. The Cromner delegate's crystal body flashed through several colors before settling on a warm blue. The tree beings rustled their branches in what seemed to be approached. Chancellor White looked thoughtful as she considered this unexpected development. Cultural innovation has not been invoked in over 2 centuries. What type of ceremony do you propose, Professor Moonwhisper? Elf moved to the center of the circle, with Jake still standing shirtless beside Harry. Propose a brotherhood bonding ceremony that celebrates friendship while honoring Vorthon family traditions. This would create a formal friendship alliance without romantic implications. Jake felt hope rising in his chest as the council members discussed this possibility. Sithar's patches had shifted to brighter colors that Jake recognized as excitement, but the proposal raised new questions that needed to be addressed. The hive mind representative buzzed in complex patterns before speaking. How would such a ceremony affect the emotional complications involving the Zalarian student Lyra? Jake looked toward the gallery where Lyra's skin had turned bright red. Her empathic abilities had apparently been noticed by more council members than he realized. Professor Moonwhisper smiled in a way that suggested she had been expecting this question. The brotherhood bonding would free both parties to pursue romantic relationships elsewhere. Ezexir would no longer be bound by cultural obligation and could follow his true feelings. Jake watched as his roommate's patches flared bright purple with what was clearly embarrassment and hope. Lyra in the gallery had shifted to a soft pink color that made her look like a glowing flower. Chancellor White called for a brief recess. While the council deliberated, Jake stood shirtless in the center of the chamber, feeling exposed but optimistic. Maya handed him his shirt, but he decided to leave it off until the proceedings were complete. The council members huddled together, making sounds and gestures that crossed dozens of species barriers. After what felt like hours, Chancellor White called for attention. The Academy Council accepts the proposal for cultural innovation. We will establish the first brotherhood bonding ceremony between human Jake Martinez and Vorthan Zixthera. This ceremony will take place tomorrow evening, with all students invited to witness this historic moment. Jake felt relief washing over him as Zixthera approached with all 4 hands extended in friendship. His roommate's patches were glowing steady purple, which Jake had learned meant happiness and contentment. Thank you, Jake, for helping me avoid dishonor while staying true to friendship. Jake clasped hands with his alien roommate and felt the strange electric warmth of Vorthan's skin. No problem, dude. That's what friends are for. Entire chamber erupted in laughter as Jake realized he had just used the word that started this whole adventure. But this time everyone was laughing with him. Instead of staring in shock, Professor Moonwhisper approached them both with something that might have been pride in her ancient eyes. You have both shown wisdom beyond your years and created something new for future generations. Jake finally put his shirt back on, feeling like he had accomplished something important. Tomorrow would bring the first brotherhood bonding ceremony in galactic history, and maybe, if he was lucky, his friends Zixthera and Lyra would find the courage to explore their own feelings for each other. The brotherhood bonding ceremony was scheduled for the main assembly hall, but Jake woke up that morning to find chaos erupting throughout the academy. Emmy Chen, the human cultural liaison, burst into his dorm room at dawn, looking frazzled and carrying a stack of glowing data tablets. Jake, we have a huge problem with tonight's ceremony. She dumped the tablets onto his desk, where they displayed messages from dozens of different species. Government's word about the cultural innovation has spread across the galaxy and everyone wants to send representatives. The Terran colonial government is dispatching Admiral Roberts to observe human diplomatic initiatives. The Vorthan High Council is sending 3 Elder Mothers to ensure proper cultural protocols, and at least 12 other species want to witness what they're calling the new friendship protocols. Jake rubbed his eyes and tried to process this information while Zixthera emerged from his hammock, looking equally confused. His roommate's patches were cycling through colors that indicated stress and uncertainty. This was supposed to be a simple ceremony between friends. How did it become a galactic diplomatic event? Tommy consulted her tablets and scrolled through messages that seemed to be multiplying, even as she watched. Because cultural innovation hasn't been used in over 2 centuries, every species wants to see how human friendship customs might affect their own diplomatic relationships. Plus, there are already 3 other cross-species friendship disputes waiting to see if your ceremony creates legal precedent. Jake felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders again. What exactly does this mean for tonight? Before Amy could answer, Maya appeared in their doorway, wearing her dress uniform and looking unusually formal. It means you're not just participating in a ceremony. You're potentially establishing new galactic law about friendship between species. Professor Moonwhisper arrived shortly after Maya, looking elegant and composed despite the early hour. The elf carried an ancient book bound in what looked like silver metal. Young Jake, I believe we need to discuss the expanded significance of tonight's proceedings. She settled gracefully into a chair that adjusted itself to accommodate her tall frame. What began as a solution to cultural misunderstanding has become something much larger. Your Brotherhood bonding ceremony will be broadcast across the galaxy. Representatives from 47 species will be in attendance, including some who have never participated in human diplomatic functions. Jake sat down heavily on his bed, feeling overwhelmed by the scope of what he had accidentally created. All I did was sneeze and say, "Thanks, dude." How did that turn into a galactic diplomatic summit? Professor Moonwhisper opened her ancient book and showed him pages covered in flowing script. Because genuine friendship transcends cultural boundaries in ways that formal treaties cannot. Your willingness to undergo personal embarrassment to protect Zixthera's honor demonstrated something rare. Most species create alliances based on mutual benefit or shared enemies, but humans form bonds based on affection and loyalty without expecting anything in return. This confuses and intrigues other species who want to understand how human friendship works. Zixthera moved closer and his patches shifted to warm purple colors. I have been learning about human customs since our cultural misunderstanding began. Your species forms deeper emotional connections faster than most other beings. What you call friendship, we might call family bonding among my people, but you extend this level of trust and loyalty to individuals you have known for very short periods. This is unusual and powerful in ways that other species want to understand. The morning was spent in intensive preparation for what had become a historic ceremony. Maya drilled Jake on proper diplomatic language while Amy coordinated with representatives from dozens of species. Moonwhisper worked with Zixthera to ensure the Vorthan aspects of the ceremony would be culturally authentic. Lyra appeared mid-morning, looking nervous but determined. Her green skin showed flashes of pink and yellow that indicated mixed emotions. I want you to know that what you did for Zixthera has given me courage to speak about my own feelings tonight. After your ceremony, I plan to tell him how I feel. Her empathic abilities had apparently been picking up supportive emotions from everyone around. Maya smiled and gave Lyra an encouraging pat on the shoulder. Good for you. Everyone deserves to have their feelings heard. Though afternoon brought delegations arriving from across the galaxy, Jake watched from his dorm room window as ships of every design landed at the Academy's expanded docking facilities. There were sleek Terran military vessels and organic-looking Vorthon bioships. The Cromner arrived in crystalline transports that looked like living gemstone species Jake had never seen before emerged from vehicles that seemed to operate on principles he couldn't understand. By evening, the Academy's assembly hall had been transformed into something resembling a galactic senate. Hundreds of beings filled seats designed to accommodate every known physiology. Translation devices hummed quietly as dozens of languages created a symphony of alien communication. Jake stood backstage, wearing simple human clothes and trying not to think about how many beings would be watching him. Zixthera waited beside him in traditional Vorthon ceremonial robes that made his patches glow more brightly. My friend, I am honored that our cultural misunderstanding has created something beautiful. Jake squeezed his roommate's shoulder in a gesture that no longer carried any risk of accidental engagement. Me too, dude, and after tonight, you should talk to Lyra about how you really feel. Chancellor White appeared backstage, looking more formal than Jake had ever seen. The ceremony will begin with traditional Vorthon bonding protocols adapted for friendship rather than romantic partnership. You will both speak vows of loyalty and mutual support. Then Professor Moonwhisper will invoke the cultural innovation provisions to make this legally binding across all member species. Jake nodded and tried to calm his nerves as the sounds of the crowd grew louder. Maya appeared beside him, looking proud and confident. Just be yourself, Jake. Your honesty and genuine nature got you this far. The curtains opened, and Jake walked onto a stage facing hundreds of alien beings. Cameras from news services across the galaxy recorded his every step, but as he looked out at the audience, he noticed something wonderful. Lyra sat in the front row with her skin glowing soft pink. Kami Chen was documenting everything with the excitement of someone witnessing history. Professor Moonwhisper stood at the ceremony altar, looking like she was enjoying herself. Maya took her place as his advocate, wearing her uniform with visible pride and in the VIP section reserved for high-ranking diplomats. Jake saw beings from species that had never shown interest in human affairs. The ceremony began with Zixthera speaking traditional Vorthon vows in his musical language. Translation devices carried the meaning to the diverse audience. I pledge my loyalty to this human as family of choice rather than blood. I will defend his honor as I would defend my birth. Clan, I will share knowledge and wisdom as we grow together in friendship. When Jake's turn came, he decided to speak from his heart, using simple, human language. Gexathar, you are my friend, and I promise to have your back, no matter what. I will be honest with you, even when it's difficult. I will celebrate your successes and help you through tough times. That's what friendship means to humans, and I'm honored to share that with you. Professor Moonwhisper stepped forward, and her voice carried clearly across the silent assembly. By the power vested in me by the Academy Council and the ancient right of cultural innovation, I declare this brotherhood bond, established under galactic law, let this ceremony serve as precedent for friendship alliances between all species. The assembly erupted in sounds of approval from dozens of different species. Jake and Zixthera clasped hands in the center of the stage, while camera drones captured every angle. But the best moment came when Jake spotted Lyra approaching. Zixthera, after the formal ceremony ended, her empathic abilities had given her the courage to express feelings she had kept hidden. And from Zixthera's bright purple patches, it was clear that her feelings were returned. Jake realized that his accidental engagement had somehow created the perfect opportunity for his friends to find each other. 3 months after the Brotherhood bonding ceremony, Jake found himself in the strangest position of his life. He'd become the Academy's unofficial ambassador of human friendship, customs with beings from across the galaxy, seeking his advice. His dorm room had been converted into an office where aliens came daily to discuss cultural confusion and relationship problems. That morning brought a delegation of crystalline hive beings who were struggling to understand human concepts of individual friendship. The 3 insect beings moved in perfect synchronization as they explained their confusion. Among our species, all thoughts and emotions are shared collectively. We do not understand how humans form bonds with specific individuals while maintaining separate consciousness. Jake had learned to be patient with these kinds of questions over the past few months. For humans, friendship is about choosing to care about someone, even though we don't have to. Like being around certain people because of their personality or shared interests. It's different from family bonds, because we pick our friends based on who they are, rather than genetics. The hive mind representatives buzzed in complex patterns as they processed this information. Their collective consciousness found human individuality both fascinating and bewildering. Later that afternoon, Zixthara stopped by with Lyra to share news about their own relationship. Jake's roommate had moved into different quarters to give Jake privacy. For his cultural counseling work, his patches glowed steady purple as he spoke. My friend, the Brotherhood Bond ceremony gave Lyra and me the courage to explore our feelings. We have decided to begin formal courtship according to both Vorthan and Zul traditions. Lyra's green skin sparkled with happiness as she added her own thoughts. Your human friendship showed us that authentic relationships require honesty and genuine care. My empathic abilities help me understand Zixthara's emotions, but your example taught me the importance of expressing my own feelings directly. Jake felt genuine happiness for his friends as they left to enjoy their evening together. Cultural mediation work was rewarding, but he sometimes missed the simple days when his biggest worry was passing alien literature classes. Maya appeared in his doorway, carrying 2 cups of coffee from the human section of the dining hall. She had been promoted to Cultural Integration Officer after successfully advocating during the Brotherhood ceremony. Mind if I interrupt your busy schedule, Mr. Ambassador? Jake laughed and gestured for her to sit in one of the chairs that had been installed for visiting dignitaries. I never asked to become a relationship counselor for half the galaxy. Maya settled into the chair and studied him with an expression he was still learning to read. You know, Jake, what you did during that ceremony was pretty impressive. Most humans would have panicked or gotten angry about the cultural misunderstanding, but you stayed focused on helping your friend even when it meant public embarrassment. Her words made Jake feel warm in a way that had nothing to do with the coffee. I just did what felt right. Zixthara was in trouble because of something I said, so I needed to help fix it. Maya leaned forward slightly, and Jake noticed she was looking at him differently than she had during their early planning sessions. That kind of loyalty and selflessness is exactly why other species want to understand human friendship, and it's why I've been thinking about us spending more time together outside of work. Before Jake could respond, Professor Moonwhisper appeared in the doorway with her usual elegant timing. I hope I am not interrupting an important conversation. The elf looked between Jake and Maya with an expression that seemed almost amused. Actually, Professor, your timing is perfect. Jake stood up to offer her his chair, but she waved him back down. I wanted to discuss the next phase of your cultural work. Jake, the Galactic Council has requested that you develop a comprehensive guide to human social customs. This manual would help prevent future misunderstandings between humans and other species. Maya's eyes lit up with interest. That sounds like an amazing opportunity. Jake could help shape how humanity integrates with galactic society. Professor Moonwhisper pulled out a glowing data tablet. The project would require extensive travel to different worlds to study how human customs translate across various cultures. You would work with a team of xenocultural specialists and have access to resources most beings never see, but it would also mean leaving the academy for extended periods. Jake felt excited about the possibility, but also uncertain about leaving the friends he had made. What about my cultural counseling work? Here, the beings who come to me for advice about friendship and relationships. The professor's violet eyes seemed to sparkle with hidden knowledge. Your replacement is already being trained. Amy Chen has proven quite capable at helping with basic cultural questions, and your friend Maya has expressed interest in joining your research team. Jake looked at Maya, who was trying to hide a smile. You want to travel across the galaxy, studying alien cultures with me? Her military background had given her skills in diplomacy and combat that would be valuable on different worlds. Plus, Someone needs to keep you from accidentally starting more interspecies incidents. That evening, Jake found himself on the Academy's observation deck, watching ships come and go. From the docking facilities, the stars outside the station seemed infinite and full of possibilities. Shooks and Lyra joined him to watch the sunset effect created by the station's rotation. His roommate's patches glowed with contentment as he spoke. Jake, your human friendship has changed both our lives in ways we never expected. Lyra's empathic abilities let her sense the deep satisfaction Jake felt about their happiness. She had learned to express her own emotions more directly since the ceremony. You taught us that authentic relationships require courage and honesty. These lessons will serve us well as we explore the galaxy together. Jake realized she was right about exploring the galaxy. The cultural research project would take him to worlds he had only dreamed about. He would work alongside Maya, studying how different species understood friendship and loyalty. Professor Moonwhisper appeared beside them, as if summoned by their conversation. Have you decided about the research opportunity? Jake looked at his friends and then out at the stars beyond the station. I think it's time for this human to see what else the galaxy has to teach about friendships. Months later, Jake stood on the deck of a research vessel approaching the planet Kepler 7. Maya worked beside him, documenting their findings about how human casual expressions affected trade negotiations with the local species. Professor Moon coordinated their research from the ship's cultural analysis lab. Through their studies, they had discovered that human friendship customs were being adopted by dozens of species across the galaxy. The Brotherhood bonding ceremony had created legal precedent for cross-species friendship alliances. Zami Chen sent regular updates about new cultural counselors being trained at the Academy's Xtara, and Lyra had become engaged according to both their species traditions, and Jake had learned that his simple human nature could create positive change across the universes. Their ship prepared to land on another world full of new beings and cultures. Jake realized that sneezing and saying thanks, dude, had led him to exactly where he belonged. Maya squeezed his hand as they watched the alien landscape growing larger through the viewports, ready for another adventure. Ambassador Jake squeezed back and smiled at the woman who had become his closest companion and research partner. Always, dude, let's go make some friends. The research team laughed as Jake used the word that had started their entire journey, but now when he said dude, everyone understood exactly what he meant. It meant friendship, loyalty, and the willingness to help others even when it led to unexpected consequences. And across the galaxy, millions of beings were learning that sometimes the best relationships began with the simplest acts of kindness.